Previously.
But yeah, based on the kind of foolishness that I'm seeing, I've seen something mentioned about a plantation. They got the wrong person listed in the IMDb. I'm gonna go ahead and put this one in never seen it, and honestly, maybe never will. So next we have Get a Clue with the iconic Lindsay Lohan. This came out in 2002, which was right around the time when Lindsay Lohan was on her grind. Brenda Song is in this movie. What is it about? Comedy. Lexi is a spoiled rich kid who loves to get the best stories for her high school gossip column. But a pic she published of her teacher triggers a strange course of events, and one of the teachers goes missing. With her friend Jack, she decides to investigate and finds herself caught in a web of intrigue. It's an exploitive parcel of action and adventure. Very typical early 2000s Lindsay Lohan movie, to be honest with you. I'm seeing the images, it looks familiar, but I actually don't think I've ever seen it. Or if I have, I don't remember it. So I have to put it in never seen it. I know somebody's going to be mad at me for that. I'm so sorry. But based on the fact that I know it's Lindsay Lohan and it was early 2000s, I'm sure it was gag worthy. Next, we have a real Disney icon for a bunch of different reasons. We're talking about Xenon Girl of the 21st Century. I'm going to go ahead and put it exactly where it belongs before we even get into the chat. Iconic film. Not only was the movie about space and space exploration, Raven-Symoné was in it. It had cute, fun, futuristic outfits. I remember the girl's hair. I remember the colors. I remember everything about it. I think they had the band Protozoa, so it also had great music. They lived on a spaceship. Like, what more could you ask for? This was so ahead of its time. And it was just an overall fun watch. And like I said, we talked about Z3. It birthed a lot of other variations. And honestly, it came out in 1999. I honestly feel like it set the tone for a lot of other futuristic, spacey movies that came out in Disney later. But iconic. The clothes, iconic. The music, iconic. Everybody loves Xenon Girl of the 21st Century. My brother sat down and watched that movie with me. Great film. Next movie. We have the iconic Cadet Kelly. Ooh, that's a tough one because I feel like I want to put him in Don't Make It Like This No More, but I feel like it's not a Xenon. It's not a High School Musical. Like, it's not something that really shook the table, but it was an excellent television program. And it was female led. Kenny Carlson Romano, what's her name? Is Carlson Romano? Christy Carlson Romano. She and Hilary Duff's character were beefing the entire time. They ended up being friends. And I love when they make girls friends and not enemies. Because one of them was a girly girl. The other one was like, heavily into the military. Excuse me. It's kind of chic because they actually made military school look like it was fun. Or like something you want to do. Not really, but when you're a kid, that's what you think. I'm going to go ahead and put it in legendary TV programming. Because the movie was great. Sensational film. I might actually watch it when I finish doing this. Next, let's move on to Cowbells. Ooh, another one. It's Don't Fear. It's in no danger of going into They Don't Make It Like This anymore. I feel like I would put it somewhere between legendary TV programming and pretty good movie. The only thing pushing it into legendary status is because it's with Allie and AJ. But otherwise, the movie is pretty, rich girls learn how to actually work and what it takes to actually keep a company going or what other people are actually dealing with. They're learning about, being a human or whatever. I'm going to put it in pretty good movie. At any point, if you disagree with me, scream at me in the comments. Let me know. Maybe I have to redo this. But so far, I'm kind of happy with where I am. Pixel Perfect. Okay. You remember when I talked about how Xenon set the tone for like spacey futuristic movies? Pixel Perfect, I feel like, is an excellent example of being one of Xenon's daughters. It also was teaching millennial kids to fear AI. That, and there's another movie that also comes up, but it's an older one. Ooh, I feel like I want to put it in legendary TV programming. Oh, because they did have some good songs. The Pixel Girl was fun and she danced a lot. And didn't she become a real person by the end, I want to say? Because I want to say her and the boy fell in love with each other. Something like that. I remember this one making me get up and want to move something. But is it legendary TV programming? Does it transcend Disney? Pretty good just kind of means it's a good Disney Channel movie. The difference for me between pretty good movie and legendary TV programming is it transcends Disney. It didn't need the Disney stamp. It could have stood on its own as a great movie. Pixel Perfect might have to be pretty good. I feel like it needs the Disney behind it. I do also remember that girl doing that nuts flip. I'm gonna see if I can put a clip in here, but I remember her doing like 12 front flips in the air and it was crazy. Next, we're gonna go to the iconic Proud Family movie. Ooh. That's again another one that I can't decide if it's legendary TV programming or if it's just a pretty good movie. I feel like the Proud Family movie came out in a great time for TV. So I want to feel like I put it in legendary TV because I don't think it needed the Disney Channel stamp of approval. I think without Disney, it would have still been a great animated movie because it was a great show. I remember it being absolutely nuts. We can't forget the iconic Peanut crumping dance battle at the end where Zoe ate them girls up. And am I happy with that decision? I think I'll leave it for now. Next, we have, a true hard hitter. Don't Look Under the Bed. I don't remember if y'all watched this. What year did this movie come out? This movie came out in 1999. I'm not gonna get into details as to how old I was, but I was certainly alive. And I remember this movie scaring the bejesus out of me as a kid. The lead boy was so cute, but he also was essentially the boogeyman, or he was turning into a boogeyman. So he was like mid-transformation, and it was terrifying. Terrifying. It was a very typical late 90s, early 2000s film. But is it they don't make them like this anymore? It's clearly legendary TV for sure. Like, Disney didn't have to do nothing with this. This was an excellent just television movie in general. But do they make them like this anymore? I'm gonna have to just put it in legendary TV programming. Again, I feel like somebody's yelling at me. Please feel free to yell at me in the comments. Let me know I'm dead wrong. And try to make an argument for it to go into they don't make them like this anymore. I personally think it's just legendary TV. Next movie, we have Double Teamed. I want to say it's the two girls that were volleyball players that get recruited to play basketball. And then I think they end up playing for the WNBA. Like, they're very good at basketball. So they kind of lean into it later. I feel like it came in the era of television. Actually, I know exactly where I'm going to put this because I saw a movie later, and actually do that one next so it can help explain this. I'm going to put Double Teamed in... no. I'm going to put Double Teamed in Y'all Should Have Called Kenny Ortega. It was right, I feel like, at the edge of Disney where the movies were just movies. And it didn't turn into singing and dancing and like a whole theater production. It actually did. You know what? I changed my mind. I'm gonna make it pretty good. And maybe it didn't need Kenny Ortega, which is crazy because everything could use a little bit of Kenny Ortega. It was, girl, we don't sing, we don't dance. We do basketball and we play volleyball. And you know what? I need to make space for people. Everybody don't gotta sing and dance. So the movie I was talking about that kind of made me want to put that on the cusp and we're gonna do next, it was actually Motocrossed. Because I believe that Motocrossed was an excellent TV movie. And I feel like I want to put it in legendary TV programming. It really didn't need the Disney stamp of approval. And it didn't need no singing, didn't need no dancing. It had a fun concept. The concept, in case you didn't know, was a brother and sister were both into motocross, but the boy obviously was allowed to be a little more into it than his sister was. So there was a championship, there was like a big race coming up, and something happened to the brother that the brother couldn't go. So the sister cut her hair and infiltrated it and basically proved that girls can do motocross just as good as boys can. Iconic. And like I said, doing it through the lens of like motocross, or a very like stereotypically masculine sport. And had my sister being that girl in it, painted her nails. I want to say I'm talking very fast. People saw her with her nails painted, and there were other boys who, were doing motocross as well, who ended up painting their nails by the end. It was kind of She's the Man before She's the Man with She's the Man. And therefore iconic in itself. So I'm going to put it in legendary TV programming. Now, let's get into a true masterpiece and Gotta Kick It Up. Legendary America Ferrera was in it. It was all about a Southern California, largely Latina American school. All the girls were Latina American dolls. They were, I want to say cheerleaders, weren't they? New biology teacher to become a coach for their dance team. Early setbacks, the girl was their Juilliard trained coach. The coach went to Juilliard. Oh, disciplined, old-fashioned ideas. But after the girls snuck off and performed in an intramural competition without their coach's knowledge, two sides must find a middle ground. It's about bringing worlds together. They had a sensational little dance number at the end. Is this legendary TV, or is it they don't make it like this no more? Because truly in a time like this, they're not making no television with an all brown or black cast leading it. And if, from what I remember, the movie was good. America Ferrera is that girl. But is it, they don't make them like this anymore. When I think about the other heavy hitters and they don't make it like this anymore, it's not a Xenon. It's not a High School Musical. I might have to, y'all, but actually we put it at the front of legendary television because it's right, it's almost there. It's almost there. I feel like it came out when, 2002? No, so it kind of didn't really hit the day. And you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna keep it there. I'm gonna keep it in legendary TV programming. Let's move on before I get beat up. This one is Johnny Tsunami. Good film, great movie. To me, it's just pretty good though. I don't know. Let me know if y'all disagree. Mom's Dating a Vampire. That was also just pretty good to me. It didn't really, it's not horrible, it's not great, but also I haven't seen it in a long time too. So, and I can't put it in y'all should have called Kenny Ortega because there's nothing Kenny Ortega could really, this not his thing. I'm gonna put it in pretty good. The next movie we have to rate is Smart House. Another truly iconic Disney movie. I feel like when you talk about Disney originals, this is one of the girls that gets brought up. It came out in 1999. Wow, LeVar Burton directed it? Wait, what's LeVar Burton? Yes, the iconic LeVar Burton. Wait, that alone might have to push it to they don't make them like this anymore. But essentially, the house was so smart that it was controlling people's lives. And based on where we are right now in life and time, we are not too far from that. Well, we might actually be right here. I don't know if people's houses are completely automated like this, but we all know that AI has like infiltrated a lot of systems and things that we use. That alone, guys, I'm gonna have to go ahead and put in they don't make it like this anymore because they simply aren't telling you how AI can jumble you up. Because if, spoiler alert, this house ruined these people's lives. Ruined it. It was bad. Next movie. We're gonna say Stuck in the Suburbs is next. I remember seeing this movie, but nothing really sticks about it, even though it has two icons in the front. Brenda Song, and is it Danielle Panabaker? Danielle Panabaker. Yeah, I'm gonna have to put this one in. They should have called Kenny Ortega. It's missing something for me in my brain. I haven't seen it recently, but in my mind, there's nothing really jumping out about it. Now, this might be one where I'm gonna get some hate for. Because I want to put a lot of other films fell victim to this, where I feel like the iconic Cheetah Girls trilogy is the opposite. I think I like Cheetah Girls 2 more than I like Cheetah Girls 1. Even though the first Cheetah Girls set the tone. In the same way like a High School Musical did. High School Musical 2 might have been better, but it's not the originator. And therefore it doesn't hold this, it can't hold a candle to its creator. I feel like Cheetah Girls might have to fall victim to that, even though Cheetah Girls 2 was sensational. I listen to the soundtrack to this day. I got to. I can't. You're right. Let me go ahead and put Cheetah Girls in. They don't make them like this no more because they simply don't. And we're going to put Cheetah Girls 2 in legendary TV programming because it was. Okay, next up is The Color of Friendship. That alone, I don't know if y'all have ever seen it. It has to go into legendary. I'm sorry, it has to go into they don't make them like this anymore. Disney Channel, the Disney Channel, had a movie about the South African apartheid. That's all I'm gonna say. Go see the movie. It's sensational. That's why they don't make them like this anymore, because they simply are scared. They would never make nothing like this today, I don't think. Even at a time we really needed to be made. Moving on. The Ultimate Christmas Present is the next movie. It's one of those ones that I've seen. Therefore, it's stuck between Pretty Good and Y'all Should Have Called Kenny Ortega. But at the same time, I can't really see how Kenny Ortega would have made this better. But it could have helped. So we're going to go ahead and throw it in Y'all Should Have Called Kenny Ortega. That movie didn't really move me too much. Next movie on the list is going to be the Even Stevens movie. Though Shia LaBeouf is chopped and canceled, his Disney era, iconic. He had so many good, and I think we're going to talk about the movie that really put him on the map for me right after this. The Even Stevens show was good. It was funny. He was such a good physical, and I mean he's still with us, but he's dead to me. He was a great physical actor. The cast was perfect. They had a perfect like family cast. Even Christy Carlson Romano, she was an absolute icon on Disney. I'm gonna put this one in pretty good because I feel like the show was excellent. The movie, again, it doesn't ring any bells, but I know it was good. Up next, we have the true tearjerker that is True Confessions. Wow. It's essentially about two twins, where I think one maybe didn't get the oxygen it needed, so his brain didn't develop in the womb like his twin did. He had learning disabilities, and it really showed. I think they want to say they're teenagers at the time, and you can see how, like, you know, the sister supported him. I don't really remember how the movie ends, but I do remember being sad, and it being one of the first movies I saw as a kid, and was just like, it made me think about stuff. And truly and honestly, it has to either go in legendary TV programming, because it could have been a movie without Disney for sure, and they don't make them like this anymore. It almost has the power of like The Color of Friendship, where it was so aware of like the world around it that it almost just, like I said, didn't feel like a Disney movie at all. It just felt like a movie. Oh, because I'm having some flashbacks about Shia LaBeouf's character in there. He was such a great actor. I'm gonna go ahead and put him in They Don't Make It Like This Anymore, because we really just haven't seen a good film, good story just in the movies in general, or original or anything like that. Next up, we have The 13th Year. I want to say this was another quintessential Disney movie where I feel like if you're talking to a group of people and you bring up Disney movies, I feel like this is one of the ones people bring up. Because why was this boy turning into a mermaid or merman? I watched it recently because I was going to do a reacts to it. And it still holds up. It's very kiddish. Like, the writing is very kiddish. It's very, young. It's clearly made for children and clearly like an early 2000s movie. So I'm going to put it in pretty good movie. Twitches is the next film. Again, the Maury family, they had such an era on TV, not just Disney, but just all television. And Twitches was no short of that. It was an iconic movie. Does it go in They Don't Make Him Like This Anymore, though? I'm going to put it in legendary television programming. That's where I'm going to put it. Next is Under Wraps, which I have forgotten all about until, like I mentioned in the beginning, me and my best friend Lisette were talking about iconic Disney movies, and she actually brought this movie up. And when I looked it up, I was like, oh yeah, I do vaguely remember seeing this movie a long time ago. Let me see when it came out. It came out in 1997. So again, I was young in 1999, and if you do math, I was even younger in 1997. I won't say how young, but I would say young enough that I probably did not watch this movie when it was on TV. It had to be something that I watched later in life. And it's a pretty good movie. The story was original, which I think a lot of people miss from like this era of TV, where it was just... One thing me and Lisette talked about when we had this discussion was you can tell that there was money invested in creativity, because so many Disney Channel movies were about something silly, but because it had the money, the backing, and the belief that it could be good, so many of them were good because they were aligned to be. You had great talented actors who you could tell love doing, love their shows, love the project. But more importantly, you had behind the scenes, you had directors that loved it. You had the whole thing of production. You can tell there was so much more effort into the whole entire process of production, because the movies come out well produced. And that's something that I feel like we're kind of missing today, where I think there's, we have AI, we have money that kind of makes it so you can fast track your way past a lot of the production process, and then you end up seeing the result of that fast track in the final result, in the movie, in the writing, in the acting, whatever. But back to the movie. It's like I was just saying, it's a silly movie to have paid for or have produced, but it's good because it had the backing. And we lived in a time where you were able to make silly movies that didn't have to be, they just needed belief and all that stuff. So let me get off my high horse. I'm going to put Under Wraps and probably just, I'm going to put it in a pretty good movie. Next, we have Wendy Wu, Homecoming Warrior. Iconic film. From what I can recall, this is one of the first time I saw like an Asian American person in the front. The iconic Brenda song, between this movie, her show, Sweet Life Zack and Cody, Sweet Life on Deck, all of that. This is probably one of the first representations of like an Asian American person that I was able to see. And she was an icon. She was gorgeous. She was... maybe not smart in the, her London Tipton character wasn't smart, but it didn't play into none of the Asian stereotypes. She was really very much just a girl who was Asian. Wendy Wu Homecoming, however, she was that girl. She was whooping them hoes' asses. Can I say that? Let me put that, I'm gonna put this one in legendary television. It didn't transcend, or is it a pretty good? Because I feel like it is very much a Disney movie. But it was a unique, and it wasn't like the rest of the girls. Actually, I'm happy with Legendary TV program, and I'm happy with that. The last movie I want to say is Zenon 2. Yeah, Zenon the sequel. They recasted Raven-Symoné's character. So that's already a markdown for me. The outfits are still cute and chic. Do I really remember this movie? I don't really remember it as much as I remember the first one. So I'm going to have to put this one in pretty good movie and call it a day. Yeah, so I think that's going to be it for me today. We ended up ranking about 30 to 40 movies, and these were not all the Disney Channel original movies, of course. I kind of just picked out a few. But this was from the late 90s, so like 1997 to around 2008, 2007, somewhere around then. That's where I think the golden years of Disney were. And then kind of after High School Musical and after Camp Rock and those type of movies, I feel like Disney was kind of just on the decline from there. But yeah, this is my ranking for movies. Again, please comment and let me know if you disagree with anything. Maybe I'll come back and do another one for some of the shows, because they also had an iconic lineup of shows as well. But this was super fun. I love ranking stuff.